Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the podcast. From Germany, I've got Merag Shahzad, and his number one skill is clients come to him to find the right marketing strategy that is authentic, consistent with the presence of the company founder, and either helping those clients find the right agency or working with the clients directly. We're going to learn all about Michelin Star Branding. We're going to talk about marketing of medical practices, and it's going to be a really interesting conversation. So, Murag, welcome.
Hi, Christopher. Thanks for having me. First of all, I don't know why, but my dad had an issue with the Latin letters. He he suggested the G, even though it should be pronounced like Mirage, like the big casino in Las Vegas or the thing in the desert, but isn't there actually.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I love this. So yeah, talk about your story and your journey because you're in Germany. So talk about how you got started, and I'm really excited to talk about brands and marketing and all of this conversation.
Yeah, I'm also very excited because, as you mentioned, we are also heading into sub brand for that is dedicated for medical professionals. And since you are a med doctor, it's very interesting to get to see your point of view. So basically, I was raised very strict by my parents, like highly strict, and both sides of my parents were dedicated to nagging about everything I did. It wasn't enough. And when I was 12, 13, 14, I had realized the biggest pressure they had on me was financially.
Huh.
Like, if you don't do this, as long as you live under our roof, we won't pay this, etc., etc. I had two impulses. The one was I definitely want to become as independent as possible. That led me to think about what languages are very useful for me if I want to be independent, because independency also means independent from the location. So first, I was like, what should I do with the German language? That doesn't help me outside of Austria and Germany, because no one in the world is speaking it, because it's also a very hard language. So I focused on English, like most people who have English as a second language and try to get fluent. I just watched all TV shows and movies in English that helped me way better than any kind of school courses or whatsoever. And second was Mandarin. I also wanted to learn Mandarin at that time. That helped me to get a broad sense of what's going on in the world, like the perspective. It's mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad. He needed two dads to get that approach, that holistic thing. But actually, languages are also a very good space to get this kind of broad thinking and think outside the box, because once you learn a language like Russian or Mandarin, you get to see the other side as well. So this was the first thing. And the second thing was, how can I get money to get independent? I need something that helps me to make money in Germany. But maybe later, if I want to move to Singapore, I should be able to go for the same occupation. And the only thing I could find was either coding or digital marketing. So already when I was 14, 15, I was a freelancer for already big brands, not directly, as a subcontractor for other agencies. Yeah, and it's already 20 years since then.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. So we'll dive right into the questions, and you have actually have a really interesting love ideas. And so first thing is talking about you cook marketing strategies like Michelin star restaurants, and how do you do that?
Yeah, yes. Many of my clients before COVID were actually in the event and restaurant industry. So I had a lot of touch points with them. And I noticed the same approaches with the Michelin star restaurants. And if you want to be a digital marketing strategist, because if you want to start a Facebook ad campaign, it doesn't start with just press run campaign, run ads, and that's it. No, you need to have a holistic approach, like Like a very good chef. A chef starts with what are the vegetables of the season? What are trend products? What is within my skill point? Then thinks of where can I get the resources? Who of my staff can really fulfill those steps perfectly, etc., etc. It takes so much thought processes, strategies, and then after the strategies, once this whole thing is set up, then you go into tactics, and after tactics, then comes down the detailed steps until you get the plate in front of you. This is all the processes that every Michelin star chef has to go through.
Interesting. So the next question I have for you is this: you talk about the Mr. Beast effect, and you ask the question: could influencer marketing reshape major brands like Mars? And I assume you're talking about the planet, but unless there's a brand in Germany that's called Mars.
Oh no, it's the Mars chocolate brand,
Okay.
and because Mars was, as a company, never afraid of competition. Because since they started buying most of the competitors, there's only Nestle with some similar products, but especially in North America, they are the big giants when it comes down to chocolate based bar and similar things. Until Mr. Beast, a, a YouTuber, a content creator, had the idea, hey, maybe I should sell chocolate bars. And
Yeah.
now, especially for the younger generations, he became a real competition to them. And this is something that already Kraft Foods mentioned 10 years ago. 10 years ago, already the CEO of Kraft Foods had mentioned that we don't see competition from upcoming startups or from our major competitors, but rather the new economy coming up for our market share.
Interesting. So then what's really interesting is AI is coming into the picture as well. And so what is AI's role in marketing's future? Will AI replace marketers or redefine the roles? Talk about that.
I don't know. Do you use already ChatGPT and other services in your everyday life in preparation of your podcast episodes, or maybe already for the after production, for the post production?
Oh yeah, I use almost 90% of this podcast is preparation is AI in post production as well.
Yes, so the same thing goes on even worse in many other industries and service companies. And I am I'm afraid of both directions. Somebody underusing AI, and I'm a little more afraid of the people who overuse AI. I don't know if you have seen some people around you who are using ChatGPT since day one. I think it was October 23 or November 23 when everything was totally changed. No, 22, right? It was 22. Yeah, the time passes. So nearly 2 years, and they have been using it for every thought process. Now we have seen OpenAI raising the prices to $200 for to get the whole package. And still they're complaining that they can't run the company sufficiently because they are still losing money. That means in long term, it might become more expensive. And those friends of mine who are overusing AI, they can't have even the basic thought processes without AI anymore. We should talk about both underusing and overusing.
Interesting. Also, talk about current marketing trends. What's hot and what's next in the digital marketing world?
Sorry. Also, back to the other topic in the marketing industry, what we highly suggest also our clients, if you want to use AI, please always consider first we need the human touch. So you need to be aware that people are searching for the human connection. So if you have the initial thought process coming from an AI, from a robot who is just pretending to give you the answer, If you would, as a doctor, if you put in questions into ChatGPT, how often do you have totally wrong facts there?
Usually it's less than 1%. Usually it's pretty accurate.
In medical sphere, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Crazy, because of course history and political facts aside, because there you can find definitely a framing, but in tech industry, in German grammar, in English grammar, in coding, I find every single day major problems within what it delivers. So first, everyone, if it's marketing or also outside of marketing, you should always have first the human input. The thought process, initial thought process, should come from your own experience. Then you can go back and forth within AI to get some other viewpoints, for example, or get some details. And by the end, you should, as a human, also give your human touch again to it, so that it has some form of your personality. Even though ChatGPT tries it really hard, not every AI LLM does it, but still, we've noticed the blog articles where we put the extra effort in are significantly more successful than the pure AI ones.
Interesting. Yeah. There's a saying, if you put in the prompts, you have to make sure the prompts are correct. And I spend more time creating and tailoring the prompts. So maybe that's why I get better answers. But the follow up question I have for you is, what is this talking about? Is when you talk about scaling small and medium sized businesses, and many SMEs struggle with marketing, and what are the most effective and budget friendly strategies for growth?
Mhm. I would. I don't like to give that answer, but it's a similar. Most lawyers are. It depends. It really depends, because it depends on the size, your budget, and your industry. First of all, what I highly recommend to smaller businesses is find the right format that is how which extends your personality. Because if you're an introvert, blog articles are a very good base. You can use white papers, etc. If you want to go for pure sales, this is not a pure marketing topic, but if you want to go pure sales, I highly recommend certain AI tools that are really helpful to get cold email outreach, for example, or cold LinkedIn outreach. If you're in the B2B section, this is phenomenally. I think 15, 16 years in this industry, I've never seen a bigger chance than this. There are some tools called Instantly AI. If you use it, it is warming up emails. It sends out emails in the right time frame so that the emails are going to be found by your recipient, and they're going to open it, retargeting them, recognizing if they are coming to your website, even though they might not use cookies, etc. So very good opportunity. And then there is Twain.ai. I love it because ChatGPT has definitely been fluctuant. Sometimes it's bringing in very good answers. Sometimes the quality is getting worse, especially around the winter months. I don't know why, but we have seen it already three times in a row. So since the beginning. But Twain AI is purely for outreach text, for emails, for LinkedIn, and everyone who tries it out, it's phenomenally. I can nearly guarantee you these two in combination, and maybe if you use Apollo AI, if you don't want to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find the right leads, Apollo is a database of potential clients. You can find the right niche, the right account, etc., within the company, and this in combination, you can get any amount of clients.
Interesting.
And on the other hand, branding is really depending on the founder. Like, what kind of content do you feel yourself most comfortable with? Smaller businesses, even doctors, should have the approach. I want to use a format on a channel that doesn't block me from my everyday life, that doesn't drain my energy. Because let's face it, as a business owner, you have so many things to struggle with every single day. And if content marketing comes on top. I can. How many episodes do you already have? I saw it on Podmatch. Like you are one of the most studious people ever.
One of the most what? Most
Studious.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we have over 1,500 episodes.
Yeah. And how many people start with different formats of content marketing? They started with Twitch live streaming, they had started with TikToks, they have tried podcasts. How many people stop after 5 episodes of podcasting?
Yeah, you bring up a funny point is there's a lot of pod faders, like people want to be a podcast guest or a podcast host, and then after a couple episodes they disappear. So they're like gone.
Yeah,
But
because it drains their energy. But if you have a format that is perfect for your personality, for your strength, that it
mm,
gives you energy, right?
yeah, 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 really interesting. And then yeah, talk about how people can find you and check out your work and follow you.
Yes, so I'm active on nearly every social media myself because I like to test out new formats and new channels, also for my clients. Because as a strategist, you should be aware of the craft. So I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all with the same handle. It's I am Mirage, written the wrong way, like IMMERAG.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks so much for coming on, and thanks so much for coming on the podcast, and keep up the great work.
Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed that conversation.
Oh.